is Lemon Creek. And if you look up and to our right behind those mountains, you should be a little story about it in just a couple minutes. Now the Lemon Glacier is so-called, they call it the Lemon Glacier, the main highway in Juneau, and it's the only four-lane highway in all of southeastern Alaska. It's only 40 miles long, having to raise their prices. It's the same reason for what you see on our right over here are gas prices. Some of you spotted those.
Person board. Keep an eye and a finger on that person. Turn the phone around and get the back.
I don't understand well enough how the penguins I do, because I saw that I got that CD. I think so. I didn't.
We do have a bald eagle on the trees off of about our 3 o'clock. If you look up in the tree lines here, look for a big white dot.
I arrived late at night and went over to this stone circle at dawn and just began to take pictures. This stone circle has been standing in the same place for 5,000 years. It's an ancient portal. It's an ancient entry point. That's the best I can know of it today. It's an entry point into an experience of the divine feminine, as far as I can sense it. But I didn't know that at the time. I just went there and I began to take pictures at dawn as the sun was rising. And I spent the day there taking photographs all the way through to sunset. I came home and had no idea whether any of these photographs would even turn out, but as it turned out, they did turn out. They were an incredible gift to me. I took the photographs to a wonderful friend at Fantasy Films, and he turned the photographs into a choreographed imagery movie, which I wrote the soundtrack to. It's called Portal to Avalon, and it's 7 minutes long. This eyes-open meditation of this extraordinary stone circle in Scotland. Of course, 7 minutes of a DVD is not such an easy thing to market, and of course my whole career is like that. What do you mean you can't do solo piano? Don't put it out there, no one will buy it, you know. Yeah, but I want to put this thing out called Naked Keys. Well, yeah, but no one's going to want solo piano. Well, I just had to. So I just put this DVD together and this 7-minute meditation, and then someone said, well, why don't you put together all your solo piano music that is the most romantic, the most mesmerizing, the most wistful and melancholy, all my favorite stuff, you know. Take it from Naked Keys, take it from Soon and Again, take it from Avalon, and put it all in one place, and move the whole thing out of the world. Have all this contemplative solo piano music, and then have your DVD. You could put them together like a little duet, like a little present. And so that's what I've done. I brought it here. I want to share it with you, and I hope you'll want to take it home with you as a way to mellow out. You can pop this little DVD into your workstation and just have a little moment's peace and quiet in the midst of a very noisy world. I'm going to play a couple of tunes for you now that are on this new CD, and you'll probably recognize them. This first one is from Naked Keys. I've always loved that about you, how deeply you listen. I just love that. I can hear it up here. I can hear you. I've always been able to hear you. Woof. Well, I had this fantasy. My fantasy was, because when I was growing up, I was like, what was that? Something of the Mounties, the Canadian Mounties. Remember this television show? What was it? Sergeant Preston of the Canadian Mounties, Royal Mounties, yeah. And I watched that show religiously, and, I had this fantasy of, getting on a dog sled and going out there with a whip and cracking it, and I signed up for the dog sled on the Mendenhall Glacier, and I got out there with my pal, Austin, and the two of us were there with the dogs, and the guy says, would you like to, come over and say hello to the 11 dogs? And I said, I'm not really a dog person. I don't know how I'd forgotten that part, But there I was going, ew, it was very sweet though. So Austin was sitting in the front seat, and I thought, well, okay, so I'm not a dog person. I can still do the whip thing, or at least, much or something, because it said that you could, you know, stand up and ride it. I had this fantasy of what that would mean, but really, what it really was is that I was dragged around behind this guy, kind of like I was, you know, water skiing or something. I was back there going, yeah, well, yeah, okay, I'm riding this now, but even with that, even though there was a brake that I got to use, and I feel like that I slowed him down. That's what I could do, you know, because he was up there. And do you know that these dogs, how much do you want to know about this? Okay, good. I just want to be sure, I don't want to lose you here, but it was fascinating to me. On the back of the dog sled, there is this bar that you push down on it, and it goes directly into the snow and slows things down. And so here is the dogs, and then here is the real sled. Let's get real. It was a real sled, and then there's a bunch of rope tying me to the pretend sled behind. It's really, you know, I felt, you know, I'm 59 years old. I can accept things. I feel, you know, it's a, at first I felt humiliated, I want to say that, you know, kind of like at bingo the other day, but, what a heartbreak that was. But I'll tell you about it later, maybe. Anyway, but I got a photograph, it was great, you know, I'm really happy that I went on the dog sled ride, and the dogs seemed very friendly. Austin loves dogs, so there was a lot of petting and cooing and doing that dog talk that people who love dogs do, you know, and I would just say about myself I was more reserved. That's really what it was. But anyway, that really doesn't have anything to do with this next song, but I so wanted to tell you about my experience. This song, actually, I wrote a note because I wanted to be sure to say something about it. Yeah. The gift for me about being on this cruise is that so many of you have come up and told your stories to me. And they are of very deep impact on me. I'm someone who has saved every letter that any of you ever wrote me, because it meant so much to me to be a part of this community and to have my music received in the way that it was. But the fact is, there are those of us who are still doing women's music, and I want to invite you to come to my website because I have an extensive links page there. Women like Vicki Randall has just released her first album ever, you know, and I've got a link to her site, you know. Chris and Holly continue to produce beautiful music, and there's a huge number of young women who are creating music, some of whom identify what they do as women's music and some don't. I don't care. You know, it's strong, independent music written by women. And anyway, I want to invite you to come there and access women's music. It is alive and well on the web, absolutely. For those of us who continue out there in all the ways that we do, this is our song. We are the ones we have hoped for. We are the women who care. Now is the time to move closer. Separate, we lose to despair. We are the ones we have looked for. We are the women who dare. It's such a comfort to know you. It's such a strength to know you're there. So much is uncertain, in a world where into my eyes, and you will see. Look into my face, and you will find. Look into my heart, my friends. Look into my heart, and you will know I love you. Stand by me and claim this world. Though troubles surround us, I offer my hand. Come hell or high water, we're willing to stand. Look into our eyes and we will see. Look into our faces and you will know. Look into our hearts, my friends. Look into your hearts and you will know. Everlong from the mist you called to me. Everlong just beyond where I can see. Looking out my window, can this be a visitation in my deepest longing? Such a tender revelation. Everlong, every seeker will be shown. Everlong, as you make your presence known. In this ancient rhythm, I can hear an earthbeat drumming in my deepest longing. I can hear my heartbeat thrumming. Everlong. In sacred circle, I can hear our heartbeats talking in our deepest longing. The labyrinth is where we're walking. I did feel as if I had been called out by her. She was talking about all of us singing in our head voices. I didn't take that personally, but I did take it as a challenge. Not as a personal challenge, but more as a challenge for all of us. A kind of sisterhood challenge. Because I was thinking, over the years when we have sung this last song, we have sung it from all levels of our chakras, actually. We've sung it from our head chakra, our heart chakra, from our lower chakra. I'm not exactly sure what chakra means, but it's a place of energy. And so when I was thinking that she was commenting on the fact that we had sung in our head voice, I thought that was not so much cerebral, but actually more in the kind of compassionate, altruistic sense of singing in a heartfelt way, but still connected and grounded. How am I doing? Anyway, this has been working on me all week, and I would like to invite you all who know this song to come in here and sing it with me from all the places that you have lived this song. From the, women's chorus, all of that part, and also down there in that place that we also spend time in. So, it's not easy for me not to go on, because there are certain people in this audience who are egging me on, and I can hear you. But I'm just going to say, thank you, Myrna, for your sound, and Suyu also. Thank you, Ben, for the lights. Thank you, Women of Olivia, for creating this extraordinary experience for all of us, really. Me. And for each one of us who steps out there every day, who will step off this boat, take this beautiful woman-loving energy, take it and run with it. Just exactly what Kate said. I second that emotion. I wish that Olivia Cruise Sisters could pull up in front of my front door, every 2 or 3 weeks, and I could just step on the boat and just take a promenade. But short of that, I will remember you. I will remember all the stories you shared with me. I will remember your beautiful faces walking on this boat and holding hands, and I will remember that you walked and held hands in Juneau and in Skagway as well.
excellent in Skagway. And it was a fabulous, fabulous day because you are the Good Time Girls, right? Oh, okay. Now, I've got some sad news. Codependent, but okay. The sad news is I have to disembark tomorrow. And what'll I do when you are far away and I am blue? What'll I do? Thank you so much. It was beautiful. But I do have to leave tomorrow, and I'm sad about that. So I do want to thank some people. Myrna on sound. To me, the best. Can I get a little reverb right now? Myrna's gone out to dinner. Okay, thank you so much. And also our fearless leader, Judy. I love that guy. Tisha, just because I can see her every day. Kendall, because you just make me proud to be a butch. And Deirdre, it's true. And that's good, because the butches are turning. Okay. But Deirdre, who's been taking care of me, is the best. I don't know how to tell you that. If you ever have to be a performer, you get Deirdre and you'll be taken care of. And it's just the lovely thing about being on the boat with all you fabulous women is also to be the opportunity to be with my pals who are performers, and I've had a wonderful time no matter what Karen tells you. And we have a lovely time on the excursion. I didn't need to make her eat the moss, but I felt it would kind of round out the experience for her. And it's been lovely to be with Meg and her wonderful spirit, and of course to be with Roxana. I'm pointing over here. I don't know if she's actually over there, but this is the Roxana area, and this is actually the Roxana support. She is there, and she's the best on the piano and singing, and she's filthy, actually, and Dana can just track it. You know what I'm saying? She's excellent, and you got to go hear her. And of course, to be with Vicky Shaw, who has given me so many pointers about how to be an MC here on the cruise ship. I'm happy to announce that the other day I was certified. I'm fully certified now in doing bingo. The moose hat wasn't necessary, but it did help. And this evening at 10 o'clock, we're going to have the newlywed-olywed game here, which is even hard to say, but I'm going to give it a shot. I will be apprenticing tonight with Vicky Shaw, and if it goes well, I will be accredited in the newlywed-olywed game and be entitled to MC it myself. You can't imagine my excitement. So be there, because I'm crazy about it. Anyway, and tomorrow I got to fly tomorrow, and they say the flying has returned to normal. Okay, but still no fluids, so vaginal dryness for everybody. And that's, I don't know what they're talking about. They say it's so dangerous, and yet at my home we tried a little experiment. We took a little Poland Springs water. We took some gel and a little mother's milk that we'd had left over. Long story. We don't want to be moms, but we are. I don't know. You can now adopt fertilized eggs. I don't know if you know that, which is really about all we can handle. But we don't communicate well about what's in the fridge, so it's just not going to happen. But anyway, we had a little mom's milk, and we had the water and the gel. We had a little cord from an iPod, and nothing happened. So we just, all we got is a little peach Melba, and that was great. Which reminds me, tonight's dessert is going to kill you. It's, it's knock you out, or it'll be good. It's a Purell mousse, and it's fabulous. I've got the recipe on my website if you want to check. There's so many things you can do with Purell. It's not just for hand jobs anymore, okay? But anyway, and we got to go through security now, which is beefed up a little bit. They have behavior detection officers now who just look at your face and can tell you if you're a terrorist. If there were pictures in the New York Times, like if you have a clenched jaw, it means you're angry. Who isn't angry in an airport? But I don't think it's going to be great. Certainly not in LAX, because there's so much Botox in Los Angeles that faces aren't actually moving anymore. But anyway, it's been lovely to be with you on vacation. You all need a vacation. I want you to get nice and revved up, because we got to return. It was really quite lovely not celebrating, but spending 9/11 with you. That was a horrible day, and I can't think of a better place to feel it again than in the company of such wonderful women. And so we got to get revved up because we got work to do. The midterm election's coming. And, I hope you didn't watch television, but the footage from 9/11 was just hideously whatever. But the Republicans have they rolled out their midterm election strategy. It's Viagra for everyone, and their theme song is Hakuna Matata. And basically, thanks so much. And you know, basically Dick Cheney, lovely man, said that basically if you vote for Democrats, you're voting for Al Qaeda. So basically they got nothing, is the point. They got nothing. And you'll know how much nothing they got when they drag gay marriage out again. Right? Because they had gay marriage last night. Last time we were so used with gay marriage, weren't we? We were like the wedge issue. We were a wedgie. We were like the butt thong between the cheek of church and the cheek of state. And we're just not gonna let it happen again. All right? Not gonna let it happen again. Actually, what I want each of you to do is to adopt a church in your neighborhood, and you don't need to even go to the church, but on Saturday, if you're going out to do your errands and you see somebody, there's a wedding there, go to the wedding. You don't need to know the people. Just sit in the back, and when the minister gets to the part about, are there any objections to this union, just stand up, make a little speech. It's okay. You don't know the people. Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I don't think anybody should get married till all people can get married. Then just go out and do your errands. Have some fun. Throw rice pudding. I don't really care, but do stuff. Anyway, and the Democrats, whoa, I don't even think they should talk. I think they should just show pictures of Katrina and Abu Ghraib and mission accomplished. Okay? Just do that for us. I could run a campaign, but nobody's asking me. Anyway, it's been amazing to be to be with such wonderful women, and especially lesbians. I love the lesbians, don't you? I love the gals. What can I tell you? And when I first came out, which was, do you remember coming out to like friends and then there were ex-friends? Oh my God. But you get better friends and you move on. Isn't that the nice thing? So I remember coming out to this friend of mine, I told her I was a lesbian and everything, and really not everything, because we do have some trade secrets. And I think it's important to keep some things close, you know, just not go sharing it around. But anyway, I told her I was a lesbian, and she actually said to me, well, you certainly have made a commitment to joy in your life. And I almost denied it. But it's true. As a lesbian, I have made a commitment to joy in my life. And she's not an easy woman to please. Work, 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 if you know what I'm saying. But, do you know Joy? Great. But anyway, and, you know, when we get up in the morning, a friend of mine said, you know, each morning when we get up, we have to decide whether we're going to save or savor the world. And I don't think it's that either or. I think we can do both. I think we can save and savor the world. And so we've got work to do, but we can have joy doing it. And especially lesbians can do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's hear it for the lesbian notion. Yeah. And I like to remember what the great Che once said. Or maybe it was Cher. That's the thing. You know? Che, Cher. It's hard. It's hard to know. But anyway, but I believe it was probably Cher. And she said that optimism is the true weapon of the revolutionary. Isn't that true? So now look at, the woman I'm about to introduce to you is a profound and long-standing optimist. She has been involved in the women's movement for a number of years. She is an activist, she's a singer, she's a songwriter, she's a producer. She has done amazing things. I just want to read a little bit. She launched the recent million-strong March for Women's Lives in Washington, D.C. with We Shall Go Forth. And she has, for the last 25 years, been touring, and you hear her music on National Public Radio. And she's also the associate producer of 2 films, Radical Harmonies for which I did the voiceover. A history, or maybe not, a history of women's music, and No Secrets Anymore, the times of Del Martin and Phyllis Lyons. Give a big shout out to Del and Phyllis right now, the great grandmothers. And Margie's work with the Labyrinth as a community building tool has resulted in an unusual new work called Portal. And Portal is a 2-disc set including a CD compilation of contemplative piano music and a DVD integrating a haunting score and mystical photography of Scotland's ancient Callanish stone circle. And she'll be performing the music from Portal tonight along with some of our old favorites. So please welcome, speaking of favorites, please welcome to the stage, Margie Adams.
Racing home after that experience and wrote this song. Sweet friend of mine, it took so long to see you, all the things you did to free you, right up till now. Sweet friend of mine, it took so long to find you, all the growing pains behind you, right up till now. The sun's gonna shine and the music will flow. Sweet, sweet friend of mine, sweet friend of mine, we are together changing, living lives of rearranging right from the heart. Sweet friend of mine, we are together growing, standing side by side and knowing right from the heart. The sun's gonna shine and the music will sun's gonna shine and the music will flow. Sweet, sweet friend, sweet sister, sweet, sweet friend of mine. Letting others define us kept us apart. Now that we're together, let us be
And this is Sitka.
Responsible for over 6,000 meals every single day, not only here but in the Lido restaurant and Pinnacle Grill as well.
Changed in the last 2 centuries. When Malaspina entered this area and anchored over in Agua Dulce Creek to the right of us, the plants had become very well established on land that was only recently deglaciated back in Malaspina's time. And when the plants become established, they follow the normal succession after the ice is left, process of life break down the rock material, forming very primitive soils. After the soils are formed, you get sedges and grass. let's talk a little bit about the change in the glaciers in the last 250 years. Hubbard Glacier, surprisingly, is in almost the exact same location as it was during the time of Malaspina. When Malaspina came up here, they eventually, as the day cleared, were able to get one of their launches right up beside this island here to the right-hand side of us. This is Haenke Island. Haenke was named after the naturalist that was a part of that expedition. And they did get one of their launches up the island, and so they had a very good view of the base of the glacier, and where they have located it on their log maps is basically the same position that we see it today. But the glacier was very different in behavior 200 years ago than it is presently. 200 years ago, Hubbard Glacier was in full retreat, meaning that it was getting smaller in length all the time, and it was doing this very dramatically. There are two types of glaciers in the world. There are retreating glaciers, which are glaciers that are melting faster than they are accumulating ice, and then there are advancing glaciers which accumulate ice more than they melt, so they get longer or advance. Now the two glaciers we're looking at are called tidewater glaciers. That's the type of glacier they are because they originate in the mountains and then they flow into the salt water, which is tidally influenced, thus named tidewater. When tidewater glaciers retreat, they get salt water underneath the ice, and the ice breaks up in very huge chunks, and it breaks off very rapidly. That's why Disenchantment Bay was completely filled with floating ice 200 years ago, is because Hubbard Glacier was in full retreat, and it was breaking up in very huge chunks. As we can see today, there isn't that much floating ice in Disenchantment Bay, and that's because now Hubbard Glacier is an advancing glacier. 95% of the glaciers in the world, 95% of the glaciers in Alaska are currently retreating glaciers. This is because of global warming and our spike in temperatures that the Earth is undergoing presently. Because of this, most of the glaciers in the world are melting away. Hubbard Glacier and Turner Glacier are the exceptions. 5% of the world's glaciers are advancing, and the glaciers that are currently advancing or getting longer and larger are high elevation glaciers. If they aren't high elevation glaciers, if they're low elevation, they're retreating. But high elevation glaciers aren't as affected by the rising temperatures as the low elevation glaciers. So they are starting to advance. Hubbard has been advancing for the last 100 years. Turner Glacier has been advancing for the last 2 months. Has been known to surge over 100 feet. It's very often. Very lucky for us up on the bridge as well as you down the Jackson